If they decide to do like a story about Luke Skywalker, like like a cartoon series, I'm there day one. Mark Hamill can play him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get someone else to play Leia and Han, but I mean, give me more Luke Skywalker. The only Luke Skywalker book they haven't coming out is a children's book.
That really stinks.
Yeah.
Let's just start from here. I mean, we're already talking, we're already recording, so welcome to the Practically Nothing podcast, the podcast of nothing, or we think it's entertaining or something. I don't know. Today we're just shooting the shit. We haven't talked in, say, what, 2, 3 weeks? Almost a month, even. But,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, today it's just me, it's Dr. Bodyguard. We're honoring the rule of two. If you don't know what that is, pick up the Darth Bane Star Wars books. You gotta read them. I'm not a heavy reader or anything, but I finished half a book on, because I was already halfway through it, but I finished one half of his books, then the second book, and then the third book I'm a good ways into. Go read them.
Go give a shout out to the author.
The author's name is Drew Karpyshyn. Not really sure how you pronounce it. Um, but he wrote this trilogy of books. And if you ever wondered why, like in episode one, where they always say, "Oh, there's only one master and one apprentice," but yet you see all these Jedi, you're like, "Why is there only two Sith, but all these Jedi?" This book understands why. The first book kind of starts off a little slow, but once it gets going into like Darth Bane training in like the dark side, it begins to take off and it becomes a really enjoyable, fun ride.
Let me. Hi, I'm Doctor Bodyguard. Let me throw this at you. Do you know why you were enjoying this guy's writing so much?
No idea.
He wrote Knights of the Old Republic.
Mm.
He wrote Mass Effect 1 and 2.
That makes sense.
And he has his own trilogy that he is heavily pushing on Twitter. It's the Chaos Born. You can see it right here, Godfather. This is called Children of Fire. I've not read it yet, but it's all about magic and stuff. And it's a rousing quest fantasy, fast-paced, action-packed, good and evil thriller. So,
Actually, I opened up the last of his trilogy book to see what all he's written. It says books by Drew Karpyshyn, Baldur's Gate 2, Throne of Baal, Temple Hill. Then there's a Mass Effect trilogy, which is Revelation, Ascension, Retribution. Um, he's written the three Darth Bane books, which are Path of Destruction, Rule of Two, and Dynasty of Evil. And then he's got Star Wars: The Old Republic, Revan, and Star Wars: The Old Republic, Annihilation. And then he has, I think one of those books you just mentioned. There's Children of Fire, The Scorched Earth, and Chaos Unleashed. So I will actually actively seek these books whenever I get the chance.
yeah, and he is currently working with BioWare, working on the Old Republic.
Ah, The Old Republic, man. I really wish I had like a computer good enough to play it.
I really wish they put that on the Xbox One.
I think it would do well. You're kind of itching that, KOTOR nostalgia that people have.
So yeah, well, my signal dropped on my internet connection for some reason. So I've played it a little bit, and I don't like playing MMOs without friends, and I'm also too old to be making random friends on the internet anymore. So I don't play it much, but it's definitely. I hope they put that out on the Xbox One. In other news, you're just speaking about computers. I have to get a new laptop. My laptop died.
I have to get a new laptop battery. My laptop battery died.
My video card burned out,
Ah, it
so the
sucks.
entire screen's red.
Ooh, not
But
good.
I found a great laptop. I want to use it to do some writing because my wife and I we just moved into our new apartment, and I don't have my PC back there. So
We need to talk about that. I mean, yeah, I was on Facebook. My heart was broken to know that yours is a house divided.
oh yes, this house is very much divided, and she knew what the hell she was getting into. Um, if you listen to these episodes, I am a huge DC fan, and not that I don't like Marvel. It's just I prefer DC over Marvel. I like the idea of gods becoming heroes rather than men trying to be gods. That in Marvel has really done like some bad editorial work the last decade or so. But my wife's like, yeah, I like Marvel because of the movies. And it's like, okay, well, that doesn't really count, but whatever. So she bought me a picture of one of the versions of the Justice League and put it up on our wall. It's got Flash, Green Arrow, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Supergirl. And she put on the opposite wall a picture of the Avengers.
Oh. Yikes.
Well, so the other night we're laying in bed and the Avengers falls into the kiddie pan. So I think I win. Had nothing to do with it.
When I was on vacation, I actually did see the Avengers 2, Rise of Ultron. That movie was so boring.
Oh, Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron, sorry. That movie was so boring.
I like the action sequences in it a lot. I thought like they really got the action sequences a lot better, but like
I felt no gravity from any of it.
No, you're right, because gravity was actually taken away from that movie at one point. Remember? Yeah. I get what you mean. Though I do kind of like it more than the first Avengers movie, just because I like the character relationships a lot more. Not Hulk and Black Widow. That was out of left field, and I don't really get it.
I'm not a big fan of the Hulk in the first place. The only thing I've really liked of the Hulk was that game called what was
Ultimate Destruction?
Yeah, Ultimate Destruction. That game was super fun. Destroying cities and throwing cars and tanks. That was just really great.
So if I'm going to pick an Avengers movie, I'm going to pick Age of Ultron over the original one, because the first one just kind of felt like, no, it wasn't a great story.
It wasn't. The build-up was greater than the actual payoff, I think.
Yeah, and the villain, well, the alien stuff, I mean, it should have been Red Skull. It made more sense for that villain to be Red Skull.
Yeah. It was the problem with the first one, that is, it's a bunch of faceless nobodies plus Loki.
Yeah. And then they like, look, a Nazi symbolism, and it's like, we don't really need that.
Hail Hydra.
No, we do not Hail Hydra.
That was the greatest. That was one of the greatest memes that came from that.
That moment in Winter Soldier was amazing, and it's like, Marvel's putting their money where their mouth is at this point.
Yeah, Captain. I mean, if you go back and really think about it, Captain America: The First Avenger is not really a good movie either. It's like it's really a montage movie until you get to the end.
Not only that, but not to say that anyone did a bad job on that movie. It's just Joe Johnston, the director, came in with like 6 weeks of prep work.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not a lot of time to work, so he did what he could with what he was available to him. But it's not a good movie. And I also didn't like the first Thor movie.
I don't have any expectations for Thor, so I'm thinking that's why I actually liked it. Until he destroyed Rainbow Road, thus meaning we can never play Mario Kart again.
Well, my biggest problem with the whole thing, first of all, why is Thor Shakespearean? Because it's Asgardian and therefore Norse. So why is everything a Shakespearean tone? I didn't really like that. I don't like thou and thou and thou. If I, just real quick, I'm just going to throw this pitch out here. I rewrote Thor, the movie.
At scene 1, Thor is sitting on a couch with Loki, and he's just like, "What up, bruh?"
You basically keep the opening movie the way it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when he gets thrown to Earth, it's 1945 at the end of World War II. Captain America's gone, S.H.I.E.L.D. is newly formed, and their big weapon is a amnesiac Thor.
I think for me the ultimate problem with Thor is for whatever reason, the Marvel universe, I just don't like gods. I don't really think they write them that well.
I agree, but I will say the new Thor movie looks amazingly fun.
Yeah, it actually looks like it feels like they try to make it too serious, and over time we've kind of lightened Thor up just a little bit. Not to the point where it kind of perverts what the character is.
Yeah,
but, just where you can actually relate to him more, like that scene in it's Avengers 2 where Captain America like barely nudges the hammer on the table, and he's like, "Uh-oh." No, it's fine.
It was a great moment, and I think the new Thor movie, they decided, let's go space opera, let's make it big because Thor should be a big character, and they're going to be keeping it fun. with the Hulk being added, we'll see how that ends up. But the big thing that comes out right around the same time, within 2 weeks of Justice League, and
I have no expectations for Justice League.
well, the
That
only thing I'm concerned about
I
is
keep
that
it.
Zach.
I keep all my expectations either below or at zero. That way, when I can go in with a fresh mind to be like, you know.
I will put this up front. Batman versus Superman was one of my favorite movies. I absolutely loved it. It is flawed in a lot of ways, but I loved that
I'm
movie.
sorry, I heard your audio just cut off like the last 10 or so seconds, but whatever.
Um, So yeah, the big worry I have for Justice League is just it having two different directors. Because of course Zack Snyder had to step down due to tragedy in his family. Joss Whedon stepped up. I don't know how that's going to go. They're two very different directors.
Yeah. And again, the thing that I always worry about with like multi-cast movies is a character not getting X amount of screen time, so it just kind of feels like, oh well, hey, you're here, hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah, hopefully they are able to just give you a little bit of a seeding for the other characters because DC decided not to do the solo movies leading up to the big team up movie. We've only been introduced to the Trinity, so we'll see how that goes. I'm liking Aquaman. He seems like he's a rager of some kind. Flash seems really insecure, so that seems pretty fun. And Cyborg, I got high hopes for Cyborg. This is a good chance to see some cool things happening.
Yeah, they've been really pushing him in the last few years.
Yes, he got promoted from the Teen Titans to the Justice League when the New 52 happened.
Can I just give a shout out to his voice actor for like playing him
Yes.
for like what since the original Teen Titans in 2004?
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, like a lot of voice actors, they don't really keep their roles for a long time. It's like I don't know.
They're definitely becoming more of a brand now.
Consistency is the word I was looking for. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't
But
have
it's
a lot of
also
consistency.
but there's also that brand with it now. Like we're associating these voice actors with these characters, so the production teams are paying attention to that.
Yeah,
It's
and
why you've
then
had it's why you've had the same Batman for 30 well a long time
since 1992. Well,
since 1992. Yeah.
1992 is when Batman started airing, but he's probably doing voice work in like 90 or 91.
Yeah. So I mean, he's been playing him for a long time. Mark Hamill's still playing the Joker in most cases. They do have other Jokers out there because Mark Hamill is a
Um,
busy man.
Richard Epcar is a fantastic Mark Hamill sound-alike. He's the one that does them in Injustice 2 and Batman Arkham Origins.
Oh man. Yeah. He did a good job in that.
Because I mean, I listen to him like when the camera pans up to Joker and he does that little laugh. I'm just like, that's not Mark Hamill, but that's someone who knows like Mark Hamill's style.
Yeah. Um have you're not getting any of the DLC characters, right?
Not currently. I want to see who else is available first.
I went ahead and got it because I had a $10 Microsoft thing. So I was like, oh, might as well spend it on something, right?
Yeah.
So I went ahead and I got the DLC pack. Red Hood, very difficult to play with, but fun. I like his costumes and stuff. Sub Zero, amazingly fun.
Thank God.
Just
I'm so glad we got Sub-Zero. I don't like Scorpion anymore.
well, here's the cool thing though. When you buy the big fighter pack thing, that like the group one where you get all three packs and you get some
Yeah,
extra
yeah,
bonuses and
yeah.
stuff. That gives you God and Demon shaders. Well, the God version of Sub Zero is Scorpion.
Wow. Well, let me try to retract that. I don't hate Scorpion. I just sort of hate the oversaturation of a certain character, and Scorpion's one of those characters that falls under that.
Yeah, Scorpion's definitely never been my favorite character. I'll be honest. Sub Zero and Johnny Cage for me. I've
Oh,
always loved
dude,
those
I
characters.
love Sub-Zero. It's weird. I like because they're kind of magical when it comes to like those fantasy type deals. I've always liked fire punches, but ice magic, and Sub-Zero is kind of like ice magic and punches. So he's always
You
been really
should
cool to me.
watch My Hero Academia and find your new favorite hero then.
Oh yeah, the half ice, half fire guy. He's awesome.
His backstory is like, whoa.
But because I'm watching the subbed version of that, I'm having trouble keeping up with all the names because sometimes it just goes so fast.
Well, that's why the same with like with me watching Naruto. It's well, you have main ninja, emo ninja, girl
Useless
ninja,
Ninja.
useless ninja, bug ninja, dog ninja.
I don't even remember his name.
I
Kiba.
know. I mean,
His name is Kiba. I remember the dog though.
yeah, the dog is great. There's like other girl ninja that has a rivalry with useless ninja. That's how I remember their names, man. I can't remember their names, like Japanese names. I have a speech impediment, so it's kind of hard for me to say certain things. So I just referred to them like Deku for My Hero Academia. I can remember that. It's very short.
It's very short, and then I remember that his name is Midori something because Mito is green. So again, all
Oh, okay.
his whole outfit's green. So I was like, it's
Yeah.
easy to
So
memorize.
it's yeah. I just finished actually all 30 episodes that have been aired in the U.S. right now on Hulu. I love that show. It is. I will confidently say this Ordo. It is better than Rurouni Kenshin, and I have held onto that torch for a long time.
Whoa! I got something to say about Rurouni Kenshin in a second, but My Hero Academia. I have finished the first 13 episodes. Of the first season. And that first season, it's really good. We were actually talking about this before we actually started mainly doing the recording, but I don't know. It gives all of its characters maybe enough time. There are a lot of them. Ah, it's so cool. It's so cool.
And that's the thing is that like when you get to the tournament or arc next, you're going to get a lot more development of like the guy with the bird head. You actually get to learn about him a little bit,
Yeah, he was the guy I was
and
trying to figure out because he has like that shadow bird thing that's with him.
yeah, so you'll learn a lot more about him. You get to see everyone's powers a little bit more, and they give some explanation. And the other thing I like what they start doing is like when they show a character for the first time on an episode, they're like, "This is their name. This is their quirk. Got it. Got it. That's great. Help me
Yeah.
keep everything straight." So yeah, that's a really really good show, and I'm enjoying that quite a bit. I like superheroes though, as far as like comic books go, I'm a Cape comic book guy. I want to read Cape comic books. I don't really want to read, you know, questionable content, which is really really weird. I mean, I read it for a bit, but it's like that gets convoluted and like too much at times. But like Cape comics with superheroes, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Spider Man, Captain America, those are the people I like.
And I just want to say, you can actually, I think you should be watching these officially. There's plenty of official channels you can watch this. You can go through Funimation, watch it subbed or dubbed. You can go through Crunchyroll, watch it subbed. You mentioned Hulu. Um, there's all these different ways to support, these shows and watch them legally rather than having to go to illegal sites like you had to do back in the day. Granted, I mean, there's still some things that you can't find, and sometimes you may have to go to those websites, but for the most part, there's no reason to not support these shows or the
Yeah,
industry.
I mean, because pirating is bad.
Yeah.
Don't pirate.
The I cannot remember which episode it was. It may have been either an episode of Naruto or One Piece, but I believe a single episode comes to at least $100 to $200,000 per episode.
Hmm.
That's not season. That's like per episode.
Yeah.
You think, well, they're just drawing stuff, but yeah, you have animations and computers and staff and promotion and marketing, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I mean it's not just drawing stuff because you got people who are like down to the wire, hurting their hands, getting carpal tunnel and stuff to put all this
Dying.
stuff together.
People are dying.
Yes, in Japan, people will die at their desk. They
This
will
guy,
die at their desk.
he was a Naruto animator. I cannot think of his name. He was 51. But he's like, I'm really tired. Because some offices like, well, for example, like Google has kind of like a little like spaces they can go sleep or whatever. Well, this guy has something that had something at their animation studio where he was just going to go rest, and he's like, I'm going to go rest. I'll catch you guys in a few hours. And he went to sleep and died. And he was one of the key animators for Naruto. He worked on Yu Yu Hakusho back in the day. He had a whole list of things underneath him, and the working conditions for those guys are definitely not the greatest.
But the good news is that Japan has recognized this. The government has, and they are wanting to work on decreasing the demand that people have on themselves to take more leisure time and more time for themselves. To cut down on your working hours.
Yeah.
By 2020, they're hoping to do that because their suicide rate among young people right now is it's astronomical. It's one of the highest in the world. And
if you ever wondered why you watched like an anime or anything that takes place in Japan and you see like a high school or whatever and it's got those fences like around the top of the school, that's why.
yeah, because people will jump off and kill themselves.
Yeah.
The other big thing is that, like, they also have a problem where people are so obsessed with their careers, they're not having sex at all. Well, you kind of need to have sex to replace a population. So right now, Japan's actually in a population decrease where their population's getting older, they're living longer thanks to medical advances, but they're not getting a younger generation to replace those workers and support those that are elderly.
And it's actually funny. Like I didn't put these things together, but Super Sentai, which is the Power Ranger equivalent in Japan, or actually, well, that's a whole nother
Originator.
subject. That's a whole other subject. But their ratings have been down for like years and years and years, and it keeps getting. I don't want to say like keeps getting worse and worse because sometimes they have dips and rises and all that stuff. But I never like put two and two together that the birth rate because Super Sentai, there are adults that watch it. They're adult fans, which is fine. But their main
Yep.
audience is Japanese kids from like 5 to roughly 10 years old. And with the birth rate not being up, those you don't have kids watching the television shows and getting the merchandise and all that.
See, that's one of the problems that China's going through right now. It's why they do have a strong economy. That workforce is going to retire.
Yeah.
And because of the China one child policy, that population growth has declined, and that's dangerous for a lot of major industrial countries. The United States is going to be facing that problem too if things don't change.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us today on Practically Nothing, the social commentary podcast.
Everything's real.
Everything, nothing matters. Okay, well, I want to take this moment. This is going to be kind of a new segment we're doing where we're going to take a few minutes to talk to one another about things the interviewer is not necessarily very familiar with. And today it's going to be me first, and Ordo is going to answer some questions for me. And I don't have a list of questions prepared, but I have a kind of an idea because this is one of your big talking points on Twitter and when you're hanging out with Cardwiz is Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem is a game series. It's been around for quite a long time through various Nintendo devices. And I've tried playing it. I've never really been into it. I don't really enjoy it. The combat it's a tactical fighter. I mean, a tactical RPG, right?
Yes.
Yes, it's a tactical RPG, and there's nothing wrong with those. I'm just not a fan. But so I'm going to ask you some questions, not about the gameplay, because I can figure that out myself. I understand how the gameplay mechanics work. But Fire Emblem, having, 15, 16 games, something like that?
15 mainline, a mobile game, and then one spin-off game. And an anime OVA.
He's a huge mythology. So
Yes.
There's a lot of names that get brought up that I don't necessarily know what's going on. I can't participate in conversations with my friends because they're all nerds about Fire Emblem. So right now we're going to take this few minutes and do that. So the first question I have right off the bat, this is what's burning on everyone's mind, is why is Roy my boy?
Roy's my boy. It all begins about 2001.
Okay.
No, basically, it's a meme of sorts. Whenever Roy's doing really good in Smash Brothers,
Tell me who he is.
Okay, he is the son of Eliwood from the 7th game, who is the lord of a country called Foray. I haven't finished all of Roy's game. I'm currently in the process of it because it's not in English.
Mm-hmm.
But he's extremely popular for his representation in Smash Brothers. To answer the question why, Roy's our boy, it comes down to him doing really good in Smash Brothers. If he's doing really well against another player, the crowd will start chanting, "Roy's our boy, Roy's our boy," and over time it just kind of became this whole big thing.
Okay.
There's a similar character named Ike, and in the crowd for him will chant, "We like Ike, we like Ike." So it's a similar, but it's not as big.
So is Ike named after Eisenhower?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me about Ike then. Who is he?
Ike is the Lord from. Well, actually, he doesn't start off as Lord. He's actually the first person in the series not to be born of noble blood or royalty or anything. He's a young man who ends up having to take over the Grail mercenaries after his father is killed. Surprise. You're a Fire Emblem protagonist. Your parent has to die. Rule one. Um, so he goes through the game not really knowing, who he is. He has to take over his father's mercenary force, and then he meets this princess who her parents were killed. Surprise. And then together they kind of their paths kind of like paralleled where they're both sort of inexperienced people, and then she ends up becoming the leader of the nation. He ends up becoming the leader of the Grail mercenaries, and I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it. It's
Okay.
fun. It's definitely fun though. If you can find this game for less than like $100, GameCube.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. I hear like Roy, Ike, Marth, all these names all the time. Who's your favorite character?
My favorite character who isn't a main lord is probably Joshua. He
Okay.
comes from Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones. Basically, he's this mercenary, and he actually has like a nice side story that kind of plays into the overall plot. What happened is that his mother ruled this desert kingdom, and she didn't really have much time for him. He couldn't understand why, so he was just like, I'm going to leave the palace. Again, he was right around like 10 years old. He's like, I'm going to leave the palace so I can understand, how I can rule the people, how I can understand the common man, and he does that. Um, However, what happens is that their most trusted advisor named Corel, the same person who taught Joshua the blade, betrays them because Corel's in love with Joshua's mother, and he feels that, oh, I can betray them to the kingdom of Grotto, and then me and the Queen Ishmael, we can live happily ever after. And his thoughts are twisted and corrupted by that. So when Joshua returns home to his mother, um, she's killed, basically, and so
Mm-hmm.
she dies in his arms. But other than that, he has kind of like this cool, nice going personality. He seems like a guy you could just have a few beers with. Um, there's a guy on YouTube named Mangs who does these Fire Emblem character spotlights, and he did one on Joshua, and it's very good. But um, I don't know, he's a really good character.
Okay.
I mean, it would take me. I would actually have to take like a lot of notes on why I think he's good and why other characters in the series, like Lon Ku, are garbage.
Okay, so like that's the big thing about a game like Fire Emblem is it's got like a cast of hundreds,
Yeah, each
and each
game, uh, each game has at least 50 characters. I want to say.
okay, so that's a lot.
Yeah.
So Fire Emblem is your favorite game series, correct?
Oh yeah, it's very high up there.
And
It's between it and Zelda, but I talk Fire Emblem more because again, it comes down to the characters. Zelda has gameplay, but Fire Emblem has a lot more characters and backstories and such.
I will come back to Zelda in just a few minutes with with a comment that might be controversial. But so with with Fire Emblem and everything, this is a series that almost died a couple years ago.
Hmm.
The team was given a last hurrah, and they did Awakenings, correct?
Yeah, they were told basically what happened is Path of Radiance did not sell well on the GameCube. Radiant Dawn was the worst in the series. And after that, Nintendo basically said, you guys are not permitted to do a Fire Emblem game on a console ever again. So they remade the first game, which did not do well. They did a remake of the third game, which is actually a remake of the first game, um, and that was Japan only. And after that, they said, you guys got one more shot, and if this title does not do 250,000 or less, the series is just dead. Game over, no more.
And you saved it.
It's true. It was me.
It was you all along. So you did this thing. You helped. So Awakenings was very popular. I remember, but there's some controversy around that now because of shipping.
Yes. Waifu emblem. The
I before you get into that,
yeah.
shipping, whether or not someone agrees with your shipping people, does not constitute death threats. It does not mean they are homophobic or transphobic or racist if they don't agree with your shipping. It just means they don't agree with it, or that it's implausible and you're just coming off like an asshole.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Awakening, is that it had because of the accessibility of the 3DS and the casual mode. What casual mode is like if you lose a unit, you don't lose them for good. There was a lot of influx of new players onto the scene, and they kind of prioritized the shippings and the characters over the actual gameplay, the map design, and the story itself. Which Awakening really does not have a super fantastic story. It's all right. Um, and I think that's where a lot of controversy comes from. That's where a lot of clash between old fans and newer fans comes from.
Mm-hmm. So you recommend to anyone to play Fire Emblem?
Oh yeah, if you
If
if you've ever been interested, there's several games which I consider to be good entry points. Um, if you don't care about permadeath, which again, the game gives you so many units that permadeath is really not a big thing. The seventh game is a good one because it tells you how to play it. Awakening because of the availability, and then after you've played Awakening, go back and play Sacred Stones because it's similar to Awakening in some ways. Um, I don't recommend a game like Radiant Dawn because it's a sequel to a hard to find GameCube game. So I mean that would be my recommendation.
so, the other thing is that this game is a fantasy game. It has elements of magic, dragons, and all sorts of stuff like that, right?
Yeah, it's essentially it's a typical medieval fantasy setting.
Okay. So that is all we're gonna do for that segment. And I want to jump back on something real quick. I read something recently. I wanted to get your thoughts on it. Uh, Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain and Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild are essentially the same game, where they both have mediocre to bad stories, but incredible exploration and action gameplay. I wanted to get your thoughts.
Oh, I agree. I've been trying to I beat Breath of the Wild like just the main story. Probably what's it, July, almost August. Um, I want to say I beat this game right around either May or June. Explored a ton of the world. I had tons of fun with it, but at the end of the day, when I see people saying, "Oh man, this is the greatest game of all time. This is the best Zelda. It's this. It's that," I'm like, it's not. It's really not. It's is it Game of the Year worthy? I even question that, which may surprise a lot of people because I'm a huge Zelda fan, but the story is just not there. The gameplay is super fun. It's great exploring all of Hyrule and discovering those little tidbits and nods to the older games. And I just don't feel it as Game of the Year because I've played Skyrim in 2011. You may say, well, they're not really the same, but they kind of are. Big open world, exploratory. Um,
Different random dungeons to go through.
yeah, it's just I can't rationalize the game. And I've tried. I've tried to say, well, in my mind, I've tried to say, how does it compare to Ocarina? How does it compare to Link to the Past or the original, or Majora's Mask or Skyward Sword? But actually, anything's better than Skyward Sword. Um, and Metal Gear Solid 5 is the same thing, where the thing is praised for its gameplay. And Metal Gear Solid 5's gameplay is so good, but unlike Breath of the Wild, um, the setting for Metal Gear Solid 5 is boring. Um, the story is garbage and not finished. Um, and the game, again, unlike Breath of the Wild, is overall just a big downer. I don't trade many games in. I've probably traded maybe like five or six, mostly because hey, I don't play them, and um, they got a nice trade-in value. Like I traded in Pokemon White 2 because it has a $35 trade-in value in 2017 for some reason. So it's like I don't play it. I've transferred all my Pokemon to the new games. I'm gonna get rid of this game. But I traded in Metal Gear Solid 5. It was actually the second game that I traded in ever. And I like to believe that the series ended with Metal Gear Solid 4 or Peace Walker, whatever one that came out last.
Peace Walker.
Okay, so it ended mainly with Peace Walker, and then the big boss story for me would end with Peace Walker.
The So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Thank you for answering those questions. I play Final Fantasy VI.
It's in the pipeline. I got to finish Persona 4.
Screw Persona 4.
I have to beat Persona 4. I am this close. I can taste it.
Because I'm keeping my Xbox over here, my wife and I took the PlayStation 3 that's collected dust for the last couple of years because I'd never use it, back to the apartment. And last Sunday, she woke me up early. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning because we had to talk about something. She went right back to sleep, and I was like, well, I'm up, unfortunately, because I have to get up in the mornings for work anyway, so I don't really program to go back to sleep. So I got up, I turned on the PlayStation, and I said, I'm going to just load up Final Fantasy VI, see where I'm at. I'm at the World of Ruin, and I was just like, yeah, this is the stuff. And I saved Shadow for the first time in playing this game. I saved Shadow for the first time. I don't know how to get him into my party, but he's alive.
Yeah, that's the important thing. I hate when you accidentally kill characters, or like you're in situations where you can't save characters, and you're just like, I could have done the thing.
It's very easy to like not get some of the hidden characters in this game, like Gogo or the Umara. So I'm gonna be working hard on getting them. I had to stop playing the other day because I'm trying to get Saiyan back, and I ran into the Storm Dragon, who is level 47, and I am level 31, and it did not go well. And I looked up some old strategies, and people are like, well, this is what you blah, blah, blah have to do. And I'm like, well, this dragon's going to be here no matter what. I don't have to let him go now. I can come back for him.
Yeah. Well, another bad part about like some strategy guys is that they've been following this to this to this to this to this all the way to the end, and maybe you're just like, man, I just want to know how to beat the thing. So you look it up, it's like, oh, I do this. Okay, well, how do I do this? Okay, well, I got to go back and do this. Well, I can't do this because of this, and then this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's very important, though, that I defeat all 7 dragons before I go after Kefka. Including Bahamut.
Something about the crystal?
No, I want to 100% this game.
Ah, gotcha.
I have played Final Fantasy VI so many times. I've gotten to the final encounter so many times, never beat it.
Wow.
Same with Final Fantasy VII. I have gotten all the way to the final form of Sephiroth, never beat him.
Don't have Knights of the Round?
Fuck the chocobo breeding bullshit, okay, man? I cannot do it.
I hadn't even got... Like, I don't even know what Knights of the Round is, but, like, Final Fantasy VII is just one of those games where you hear people talk about it so much, it's like, oh yeah, Knights of the Round, that thing.
Yeah, it's just you have to breed a gold chocobo that can run over both water and mountains.
Dang.
And I'm just like, oh, fuck this game. Oh, chocobo breeding is so hard. And I know someone out there's like, it's the easiest thing in the world, man. You just fucking noob, you suck. It's like, well, okay, yeah, fine, I suck. I'm a scrub lord.
No, it's not just that. It's just that we don't have the time to sit there and do all that shit. It's like people with Pokemon breeding, trying to get like the perfect Pokemon with like the perfect stats and natures, and you see people like, oh man, this is my 3,000th egg. I'm just like, no, I don't have time for that.
No, I've got stuff to do. I've got food to eat. That's what I want to do with my life.
Yeah. Man, tell me about your 20s. You ever hear about Pokemon breeding?
And I'm sure that's a lot of people's stories, too.
Yeah. Hey, man, tell me about your 20s. You ever hear about Minecraft? Actually, well, no, I'll be straight up. I'm definitely cheating in this Persona playthrough because the place I was at, the game was sort of unwinnable for me because there was like a huge level spike, and that's actually why I put it down. And I started up, I'm just like, well, I'll go back 1 week in game in the calendar. And it said, you can do that, it's okay, I did it. But then I lost 5 levels because I went back in time. I'm just like, I don't have time for this. Let me find a save that has all the personas unlocked, and I'm doing it like that. So I have a persona just fucking one-shots anything. I'm just like, I don't care. I like the story, I like the characters. I've already put in like 30 hours. I don't care. I'm cheating to beat this game.
You're cheating?
100% cheating, because I don't care.
Wow. Look at you, cheating.
I'm cheating. I have. Well, I mean, like I got so far legitimately, and it's being that stupid unwinnable situation. I'm just like, you know what, forget it. I don't. Because Persona games are a slog to get through. They're fun. There's a lot of character interactions, a lot of dialogue, a lot of humor, a lot of this, a lot of that. But it's still a slog to get through. I'm just like, whatever. I said it. You know, it's out there. You can
Yeah.
judge me.
Oh, I will. But that's fine. Cardwiz, whenever he loses a unit in Fire Emblem, restarts the game from his last save point.
Ooh, I'm mixed on that. Some characters die. I'm just like, eh. But if a character like Joshua dies, I'm like, nope, I got to reset. I don't care how far I am into this map. I only have my best playthrough of Sacred Stones does not have Joshua in it, and it hurts me every time I load it up.
Mm. Well, that's what happens when you suck.
RNG is a bitch, man.
Oh, I play Dungeons and Dragons. I know all about RNGs. Okay, that
Yeah,
D20 is a cruel mistress.
2% critical. I'll take this guy. He won't hit me. Dead. Shit.
Hey, roll a fortitude save. Oh, fortitude, that's my highest save. You rolled a 1. Fuck.
RNG is like no matter what game you play. If there's RNG, it's going to screw you in some way.
I have rolled so many ones in games lately and not gotten a single critical. I'm getting angry.
Oh man. So San Diego Comic Con happened.
Yeah, I'm really hyped up for DC Metal, man. It's gonna be awesome. The Dark Universe is invading. We're gonna find out the secret of Nth Metal.
I saw like some with like different Batman or something like that.
There are there's this in the Dark Universe. There's like this Batman avatar, like Bat Avatar thing that's like super evil and dark, and he's sending like the Dark Batman after them, and each Dark Batman is like modeled after one of the Justice League members and stuff. So like they've been doing these really crazy designs. Like the Superman one is based off of Bruce Wayne that tried to create a serum to the Doom virus that happened a couple years ago and ended up infecting himself with the Doom virus. So he's Doomsday.
Oh, that's crazy.
There's a Batman that looks like he became the God of War. There's a
What was the Flash one? Because I think I saw him.
The Flash one, I don't really. They haven't said too much, but his entire suit looks like a car exhaust, like vents for him running so quickly.
Hmm.
But it's running from August to March, $2.99 per issue, and then they're going to have some tie-ins over the time. And then also happening in November is the the Doomsday Clock, which is going to be Superman versus Doctor Manhattan.
Nice. Oh, didn't they announce the Flashpoint movie?
They said that the Flash movie that they're coming out with will be called Flashpoint. So no one's quite sure if they're going to be trying to use that to reboot some stuff or whatnot. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, because a lot of rumors were being thrown around that apparently maybe Ben Affleck didn't want to be Batman anymore, but apparently he came out and said, "No, I am Batman."
Yeah. He's excited to work with Matt Reeves. Now, the idea is that, the Batman's probably going to come out before Flashpoint. So, Ben Affleck will do the movie, will do Justice League, he'll do the Batman. Flashpoint would happen, and then at the end of that movie, if they follow the comic series, they could show a younger Batman.
Sounds all right. It'd be. I don't know. Again, I already told you how much I love the Flashpoint Joker and Flashpoint Batman dynamic, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into that again.
Well, I mean, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's implying that he's involved. He played Bruce Wayne, and he played Thomas Wayne in Batman vs. Superman.
That's going to be good.
So we'll see what happens. We get the Aquaman movies coming out soon. I'm really looking forward to that. Jason Momoa looks like he is killing it.
Jason Momoa is actually a reason to be excited for Aquaman.
Yeah. They win against the character design, and he looks like he's just really passionate about what he's doing. Amber Heard is playing Mira.
Jesus.
Dolph Lundgren is in the movie.
Oh,
Willem Dafoe is going to be in the movies.
Life support. Oh my God, she's this beautiful redhead. Oh, skin tights. Jesus. Whew.
Uh,
Man,
we're
look,
also looking at the Green Lantern Corps movie. That's John Stewart and Hal Jordan. Um, and we're going to be having Suicide Squad 2. Wonder Woman 2 got announced and got a release date for 2019, December 2019. So
they showed off what was it? Some Star Wars stuff apparently. What was it with that? I really didn't keep up with San Diego Comic Con this year. I was mostly working, so I really didn't keep up
I
with much.
have no idea what Star Wars stuff they talked about. They announced some books and some new comics. I don't think the movies really did much. Um, I'm kind of, as much as I love Star Wars, I'm kind of like sour on how they're handling things right now. So we'll see if we'll see what happens after the Last Jedi. That's gonna be the last I'm gonna say about Star Wars. Until the Last Jedi, we'll have a conversation about that. But I'm done with Star Wars for now. We're
Unless we're talking about the old stuff.
the old stuff, the EU, the old EU. I can go into that a little bit, but right now I don't want to speculate. I don't want to get into anything too heavy. Marvel. Let's just switch topics. Marvel announced their Legacy thing, which is their attempt to catch in on DC's Rebirth, but they claim it's not. Um, they announced Avengers 1 million BC. So like Odin is Thor, and there's a Black Panther, and there's a Iron Fist who we've never heard of because all the Iron Fists have kind of been explored. Um, there is a Ghost Rider who rides a mammoth. Um,
We get Bone Claw Wolverine.
there's no Wolverine.
Ah,
Mutants wouldn't exist yet.
yeah. I just remember that toy they used to have of the caveman looking Wolverine.
Oh, well, that was because Apocalypse's kid kidnapped Wolverine to make him to the Death Horseman, and Wolverine rejected the adamantium, and it kind of caused his body to revert back to a primal state.
Ah, okay.
It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Something you don't care about.
No, no. I just
People hated it. People hated it. So yeah, they announced that. We'll see what Marvel Legacy is going to turn out like. I have no expectations because Marvel's editorial team is shit. It is. I don't think they've produced a comic I've been interested in for a long time, and this Captain America stuff has alienated a lot of fans.
yeah. I accidentally. What was it? They had the audacity to put Captain America on their front page for Twitter on July 4th. I'm like, really? Are you absolutely serious? The whole
Yeah, I
big
mean,
thing is that you revealed that Captain America is a secret Nazi, and now you're just like, oh yeah, happy 4th. Here's Captain America. Fuck off, Marvel.
um, did you see Spider-Man: Homecoming?
I have not.
Oh,
I was going. I was on vacation when it came out, and then I came back. That I got back in town like at 8 o'clock at night on the 8th. I was like, well, let me go check it out tomorrow. And then like that post vacation hit me. I'm just
yeah.
like, oh god, I can't go. Then I had to work for like 6 days in a row, and then I switched positions, so now I'm a morning guy instead of a night guy, and I just haven't had the time to really go see it.
It was good. I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed the high school stuff more than the superhero stuff. I didn't feel like it was great Spider-Man action compared to what we have seen from 5 other movies. We'll say 4 other movies because Spider-Man 3 was terrible. Um, it's good. I think you'd really like the villain though, the Vulture. I think they like Michael Keaton doesn't like he has a one really great moment in it.
He literally lived long enough to see himself be the villain.
Yeah, he still says that he's Batman, nothing else.
Uh huh.
So,
And Michael Keaton
um,
was my favorite Batman. That's an old video.
wait, was that the?
Everyday something normal guy.
I'm
No.
just an everyday normal guy. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
John LeJoe or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, I know that was good.
And Michael Keaton is my favorite Batman. You know why? Nah. I can't remember all the song. Trying to think about what was. On my end, we're as far as Power Ranger stuff was announced. I really didn't say too much, except that we are finally out of the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger Legacy hell. They're finally expanding on to Zeo. We're going to be getting a Legacy Zeonizer, which is their morpher, which is they only had like pictures of like the prototype of it, but
Hmm.
it looked really cool. I mean, there's still a couple of Mighty Morphin things. They announced the Gold Ranger staff. That thing looks really good.
Nice.
And then the big exclusive item this year was a Gold Ranger version of the communicator from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which again I would never buy. Um, it's it's a thing you wear on your wrist that does not tell you the time.
Well,
I mean,
I'm sure there's a reason for that.
yeah, just it's just like, well, they sold the regular version of the collectors, like the collectors. Oh, sorry, the collectors line is called the Legacy line, but they sold a version of that morpher that you could replace the little straps on the inside with red, blue, the original Power Ranger colors, and then they sold a separate one just for Tommy, for because it's Tommy. Um, that you could switch those little things out for white and green. It's just like they're nice, but you wear them and then they go doot 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 doot. My phone can do that. Your Apple Watch can do that.
No one should have an Apple Watch.
Smartwatch, whatever.
No one should have that.
Smartwatches?
Yeah.
I don't really care for them that much.
Um. Okay. Well, I think we're kind of coming towards an end as far as like what we can record.
I'm looking at an hour and 5 minutes. We can go a little bit longer.
Okay. I will say this. My wife makes an amazing spaghetti carbonara. Dude, learn how to cook spaghetti carbonara. You're not gonna regret it.
Maybe I will, because I'm a horrible cook.
It is basically you cook bacon, right?
I'm already lost.
You cook bacon, and then you use like some eggs to like create like a with the bacon grease to create kind of like a a thing to put on the spaghetti, and it's good.
That does not sound good.
It's actually really good.
Does not sound good.
It's like a creaminess. If you like cream,
In the comments section of what will be a YouTube video version of this, tell me whether or not that sounds good or bad.
I think spaghetti carbonara is one of the most popular dishes in the world.
Listen, I don't want to be a victim of Italians mad at food, okay?
Uh, my mom went to Italy once, and she's like, "The food there was awful. Just make me the Italian food that you make." She's like, "That was the worst spaghetti I've ever had in my life."
Yeah, apparently their pizza's not that great either.
And yeah, I like American version of food. I like American cuisine. I'm big on American cuisine. It's people can be like, it's like, well, whatever. I enjoy it. I don't really care what you think.
And now we talk about professional wrestling.
Professional wrestling, I've not. I don't know. I know nothing.
Cody Rhodes is doing well for himself. He's
I have seen that. He is the current ROH World Champion, right?
Yep. It actually comes on Sundays at a decent time. Like I got home at about 7 o'clock, and my aunt found it randomly flipping channels. I think it's on Fox, maybe.
Hmm.
And I didn't know who the Briscoes were. I'm just like, these are guys I always hear about, but man, do they look dumb.
The Briscoe brothers, I've seen some of their matches on YouTube and stuff. They are actually pretty freaking wild.
Yeah,
They are.
That's what I've always heard.
They're legit. I follow just Gregory Helms and Cody Rhodes as far as wrestling goes these days.
I follow Alexa Bliss because, phew, Jesus.
You're on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not Twitter, Instagram, right?
I am. I recently actually reactivated it, so I started following people again.
You should follow Emma.
Oh yeah, I saw that picture that she tweeted out today.
She posts. That's all she posts
Oh man.
is pictures of herself in bikinis. So if you're into women in bikinis, guys, Instagram is fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm like
remember-
not gonna take pictures of my food. I don't really care, but
I liked a picture of Instagram of a cosplayer. Oh, this is a cool Overwatch cosplay. I'm gonna click that. No, this is a cool picture of an owl. Okay, whatever. And now my recommended is nothing but ass and owls. Nothing
That's
but
kind of your life, though, isn't it?
ass and owls. Ass and
Yeah,
owls. Gotta get me some ass and
that's an owl.
owls.
Oh, let's switch back to video games real quick.
Yeah.
Later this year, Player Unknown or whatever Battleground is coming to the Xbox One. I
PUBG.
highly suggest you check that out.
PUBG.
Yeah, Cardinals and I are going to get that. It looks like a ton of fun.
That's dude. Every like Giant Bomb and Game Informer are always talking about that game. I want to play it. Was that
It
one thing where the guy's like, I've been outplayed, where the guy on the motorcycle just like jumps off, hits him in the air with a shotgun, and keeps on going?
Yes.
That is so
Um,
good.
yeah, I mean, it just looks like a really silly, fun game. Like we're not gonna win, but who cares?
Yeah. I mean, it already has 4 million players on PC
Yeah.
in early access.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So I mean, I'm all about that. I'm thinking that's gonna be a really fun game to play.
yeah, because I haven't been into Overwatch lately. I don't know why.
I think we got a little burned out on it, but having gone back in the last couple of days, it's fun. I don't want to play it as hard as we used to, but it's still fun to play for a few rounds.
Yeah.
I think part of the reasons that like the boxes were not rewarding us.
I
Um,
I have several rare items, or I guess like whatever the big legendary items are, but
legendary, yeah.
the thing about that is that, well, let me start over. When I first got the game, brand new, it was during the Summer Games event, and I guess I got 5 loot boxes for buying the game, and then I had, I think, one special loot box for that event. I got duplicates in my very first box. Very first box.
Well,
Apparently, they've like switched some of that stuff around, so we'll see.
what they have done is the payout is bigger for duplicates.
Okay, that's good because I never understood how people had like tons of like currency and stuff, but it's like you get a duplicate of this item. Here's like 25 gold. It's just like that is next to nothing.
Well, it's because they spend $60 on getting the loot boxes themselves. Well, like, we had that bad day where we spent $25
Nope, nope,
on
never
Mass
happened.
Effect
Nope,
boxes.
nope, never happened.
But eh,
That was our worst.
that was the worst day because we just kept saying it's only $25.
We didn't even say it was only $25. We said
It's
only
only
five
it's only
dollars.
$5.
It's $5, man. Who cares? Boom! It's only $5, man. Who cares? And then like 20 minutes later, we're like, oh no, oh no, EA's got us. They got us by the balls.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry, I
five,
just saw this GIF.
5 turned into 25 pretty easily.
Yeah. Okay. Red Dead Redemption.
Hmm.
This guy's on his horse to like he's getting ready to shoot like snipe at someone and the horse kicks up at the wrong time and he shoots the horse in the head.
Oh, jeez.
And he falls off the horse and he rolls down the hill. Sorry, that was random. No one can see this.
I can't even see it.
You can't even see it. Yeah. I think the pub, whatever you called it. I think that'll be fun, and I hope you play some Overwatch with us. Like I said, we're not playing it hardcore anymore, but it's still fun, and I don't want to play you in Injustice anymore
Why?
because that was embarrassing for me.
Because I learned Supergirl.
You didn't learn Supergirl; you became Supergirl.
I actually haven't played since that moment.
I have I grinded out 60 boxes last night and I got jack shit, so I got pretty pissed off. But I had this one thing, this one tree that if I kept doing it, I got a platinum box every time. So I was really hard on that.
The boxes aren't being kind to me either. When I first got the game, I made a comment about, man, Joker's head looks really stupid. His entire outfit looks stupid. And I've been getting nothing but Joker items since then. I
And
actually almost have all of his cosmetic heads.
you don't play them, do you?
No.
Yeah.
The
I
only
have like
character I play is Supergirl.
play the other characters, man.
No, I want to play Supergirl.
What about Black Adam?
I don't care. I have Supergirl now.
Um,
Um,
I I got
my current issue with playing with you guys is I have to get a controller converter thing for the mic. The controller you sent me doesn't have a mic thing on it.
yo yeah. Sorry about that. That was one of the first edition ones.
Nah, it's no big deal. I just remember, like, I think Carlos invited me to a party, so I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Oh no. I mean, I can watch Netflix with stuff like that with you guys with the other controller, but I can't really play anything.
Yeah. So I guess we're just waiting on you to be able to do that.
That's going to do it for the podcast today. You can find me at Plan Ordo on Twitter. You can find the podcast at Prac Podcast, and that should be in the description if I remember to actually put it in there this time. And Dr. Bodyguard, where can they find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Dr. Bodyguard. That is a DR Doctor, not the whole word, just the DR Bodyguard.
That does it for today. We'll catch you later.
Thank you.